Yvonne.
I'm Neil.
Today we are here to discuss about the financial problem that the students face during their university life. So let's start our discussions. Neil, do you know what is the expenses?
Yes, expenses actually is a outflow of the money to a particular person or group due to the person needs and wants for the good and service offered. It also is a specific value or cost that has to be paid in exchange for another good and service.
As for students, the expenses are some money that they have to spend in order to complete their daily basic needs in the university life, such as the food, drink, clothes, stationery, and others. Most of the university or the college students will face the same major problems, which is the financial problems. In the university, the most complicated issue for some students are the fees and the finance that related with the university.
In my opinion, students that can manage their finance well during their study period will have enough money for their expenditure, or maybe they will have surplus that can be added into their savings.
But as for the students that did not manage their finance well, they will always face the shortage of money during their study periods.
When they entering the university and college life, some of the students may start to learn and getting used with the eating instant noodles lifestyle for dinner and try to make their laundry last long before washing it.
So all of these things happens because they want to make sure that their money will last long.
Based on the topic, we are going to study about the problem that the student face with their expenses. It includes on how the students spend their money daily, whether they spend by following their budget or they likely spend it extravagance, how they want to make sure that their monthly allowance are enough, why they always have insufficient of money problem, and what type of financial problem that they face. To get the analysis result for our report, we already done a questionnaire in Google Form. This survey has been done among the UUM students itself, which is 118 students are randomly chosen as our sample. In this survey, the first question is the total allowance they receive monthly. Based on the result, we can see that 64.2% from the students receive less than 500 monthly, and 35.9% receive more than 500 every month. Based on the amount they receive, we can see the difference in their shopping site, which is most of them need to plan their monthly spending well.
Besides, we also have asked about the sources of income. The purpose of this question is to see the sources of income of UUM students, and options has been listed for them. For example, parents, scholarship, loans, and part-time job. Based on the result, we know that most of their sources of income come from their parents, loans, and scholarship. The remaining use their own saving, part-time job, and conduct or join a business as their sources of income to support their life in UUM.
The third question is asked about the monthly allowance adequacy. The judge showed that 39.7% of the students say that they get enough allowance for their monthly allowance, and 22.3% not sure either they get enough allowance or not for their monthly allowance. The rest stated that they did not get enough allowance for their monthly expenses. We can conclude that students that get enough allowance have their planning in spending their money.
We also have asked about the part that the students spend the most. Based on the graph, we know that the most of the students spend their money for food, books, and followed by the shoppings. We can see that they spend more money on their basic needs, study, and also for their entertainment, which is shopping.
Besides this, we also ask about the place that the student prefer to go shopping and place influence student expenses. Based on the chart, we can see that most of the students prefer to shop in the UUM Varsity Mall. From the result, we can see that 60% of the students agree that the place will influence their expenses. It involves implicit and explicit costs. It will lead to over budget without their resist it. In order to avoid over budget, they need to include the implicit and explicit costs in their budget. From the chart 5.1, we can relate it with chart 5 on how place students prefer to go shopping with place influence student expenses.
Most of the students will spend less than 200 ringgit when they're shopping, followed by the students that spend below than 50 ringgit and below 400 ringgit. This amount only spent once or twice in a semester, and it includes their spending in buying books and also other goods that they need for study and for themselves. The other good is means like the good such as makeup, dresses, and so on.
Monthly saving also is the one of the question in the questionnaire. Usually, persons that planning for their spending will have their own saving in the end of the month. The balance from their allowance in that month are counted as their saving. From the result, 52% of the students have their own saving in the end of the month, which means they really plan out their expenses to make sure their allowance are sufficient.
Based on the result, 46.7% of the students did not facing any financial. Meanwhile, 37.5% of them facing a problems. 20% of the students stated that they did not have enough money to buy the book. If they buy the book, then the basic needed will become their opportunity cost. Besides that, 5% of the students stated that their monthly allowance only enough for their spending on that month. They did not have any saving for emergency cases. From the result, we can see that most of the students will plan their expenses and before shopping, and most of them trying to minimize their costs in order to make sure that their allowance every month are sufficient. Most of the students have their own limit in spending their money, but still they cannot avoid from buying the goods that they deserve. In order to fulfill their deserve, they need to make a choice which causes the excess of the opportunity cost. Therefore, the students take an initiative in order to solve their financial problems and make sure that they have enough money to spend more. So, most of the students choose to do their part-time job in UUM, especially at Varsity Mall. The main reason why they choose the Varsity Mall is to save the cost. They can walk to the mall from their inasis. Some of them doing the online business or become a dropship agent for some product, selling the nasi lemak in their inasis and make a food delivery from outside. They will charge for every delivery they make. Hence, we can conclude that the price of the good playing an important role in economy, which is the cheapest the product. It will attract more customers. In order to minimize their costs, they will choose the cheapest product instead of expensive one because it will give them the same satisfactions. In terms of quality, for sure, they will choose some things cheapest but with the good quality. Based on the topic, we can conclude that the problems that the students face with their expenses after the questionnaire survey that we done. The data of the questionnaire is important because it can show us the information about how the students spend their money daily, whether they spend by following their budget or they likely spend the money without any expenses planned.
We can conclude that the price of the good playing an important role in economy, which is the cheaper the product, it will attract more customers. In order to minimize their cost, they will choose the cheaper product instead of the expensive one because it will give them the same satisfaction. In the term of quality, for they sure will choose something cheaper but with good quality.
So that's all for our topics for the students' financial problems that face in the UUM. So thank you. Bye.